so scared.
Fowler, Indiana is a small town and very charming. It's a small agricultural town in northwest Indiana, and like many small towns, it has secrets. This town's secret happens to be that it's haunted.
Welcome to the Fowler Theater.
Small towns do indeed hold secrets, sometimes terrible secrets. In a place where everyone knows each other, knows these secrets, sometimes it's easier to just not talk about these ghosts from the past. But sometimes the ghosts don't want to be forgotten.
I have had my hair tugged on. I've been touched. Just recently I've heard them start saying my name.
My son had his girlfriend here, and she wanted to go behind the screen, and they were all busy, so I took her behind the screen. And she says, "Is there anybody here?" And she said, "If you want to talk to me, give me a sign." And her ponytail went straight up and kind of snapped her head backwards. And you could not get that little girl behind the stage for any reason after that.
About 3 months ago, during a board meeting, we were setting up at the front of the auditorium, and I had heard a big bang come from up front. Sounded like the front door closed. So I turned around real quickly, and another board member said they had heard it. And so we kind of waited a minute and was watching, and a couple of them saw somebody walk across the doorway with like a suit on. And so we kind of stood there a second, and one board member decided, well, I'll go up and look. And he came up and hollered and looked around, never saw anything, but he really didn't want to look in the bathrooms.
Shortly before we were opening, almost 20 years ago, I was painting along what used to be this particular wall area here before we added the office. And back down this hallway towards the front door and towards the first set of doors, which are original, I was listening to some music which I had had down front in the auditorium, and I thought, yeah, maybe I turn that music down, it's kind of loud. And then kind of out of the left corner of my eye, I see a figure kind of almost act like they walked in the front door, come down that front hallway very fast, and dart behind the old concession stand. I would describe it as a man, for sure, in a fedora hat, and kind of an old style overcoat, long coat, almost like a raincoat looking look to them. And he just came in and darted right around there, and I looked around, did not find anybody. It was clearly what looked like a person. I will tell you, it scared me greatly.
So, who is haunting the Fowler Theater? Who is the spirit seen repeatedly by staff and visitors alike? The answer may lie in the theater's history. Dick Vlastos came to Fowler, Indiana in the late 1930s. His dream was to own his own movie theater. Vlastos hired Chicago architect Alexander Eugene to design his theater to be located at 111 East 5th Street. At the time of its construction, the Fowler Theater had a modern, contemporary design. The lobby was dominated by Art Deco plasterwork, chevrons, and sunburst patterns. The Fowler Theater opened for business in March 1940. Dick Vlastos' dream had come true. For several decades, the theater was an ongoing success, but as time and changing financial fortunes and the death of Dick Vlastos took its toll, eventually the Fowler Theater closed. By 1990, the venue had screened its last film, and following a string of unsuccessful businesses that came and went, it was closed, abandoned, and destined for the wrecking ball in 2002. That is, until it was saved. It is Dick Velastos who is believed to be one of the spirits inhabiting the Fowler Theater.
I've seen Dick behind me, or what I believe to be Dick, in the windows going down into the theater.
Really?
I've felt something behind me, looked up in the window, and there was a fedora hat behind me.
Really?
Yes.
So was it see-through? Was it solid?
It was see-through.
Okay. And so if you were standing up there with that entity, how tall do you think that would have been?
He was definitely taller than me.
Somewhere around our first show, we were having, the rest of the guild was here, and we're talking, and I said, I'm just going to share something, and I told that story. And before I could describe the gentleman's dress, another one of our members said, does he wear a fedora hat and a long coat? And I said, yes, he does. And they'd actually seen him not that long before. It was almost like that gentleman had come in here and worked every day, and that's what he did. He came in the front door, went around the back, and was doing his daily business.
So do you think that it's been Dick Velastos this entire time?
Yeah, I think he's been here to kind of supervise what's going on. I think he's very happy to see that it's coming back to its grandeur that he had. I think he's very happy with what's happening and still wants to be part of it.
But Dick Velastos isn't the only specter that calls the Fowler Theater home. While paranormal encounters are reported all over the theater, including the concession stand and auditorium itself, hotspots seem to be in 3 distinct places. The first is the stage, particularly behind the screen. Late at night, long after the living have left, unexplained lights both on and behind the screen are commonly captured by security cameras. It is said that whatever resides behind the screen is unfriendly. The second is up the narrow stairwell to the projection booth, where it seems one or more spirits are coming and going. And finally, the restrooms, where shadow figures have been seen.
So I arrived tonight to meet Stephen to do the video shoot, do the interviews. So we're walking in, we come inside the concession area, and he's describing that they've seen a shadow come through the door, and that as they came to the door, they're all outside of the bathroom. And he's describing as the door's being pushed open, they see the sink is on. Well, neither he and I had seen the sink on, or wasn't making a noise or whatever. And as he's describing the door being pushed open, the water is coming on. I'm like, the sink is on.
Encountering and perhaps identifying these entities is a goal of 765 Paranormal.
Right now, what the team is doing is they're scattering out across this location and setting up our equipment. This location is so active everywhere you go that we need to blanket this place with equipment. So we've got hotspots behind the stage, in this auditorium, back there in the lobby, upstairs in the loft. Even the bathrooms in this place are haunted. So we just want to make sure that we don't miss anything. So we're just going to blanket the entire place.
Every investigation we set up cameras, we have to run cables, and we have to aim the cameras. So we pick a different home base for every investigation. And tonight's is a concession stand.
So this is one of our DVR cameras. We've got it hooked up. We've got a cable that goes back to our DVR system. It'll be one of 5 cameras set up throughout the theater.
So while we're setting up, we thought we could share a couple more stories with you guys. Dwight, tell us about the time that you came in and the sink was on again.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I came in to do some work, and I walked up to the building. I felt fine. As soon as I walked in, I felt lightheaded and dizzy, and actually my head started pounding.
Really?
But I went ahead and about my business. I went into the men's restroom, and the sink was on, and so I announced it so the camera would pick it up.
Water's on.
And then I went home that evening, and I thought, well, since I felt odd or out of sorts, I wanted to see what the camera might have picked up. And during that time period, I heard 3 things. I heard, I am, hey baby, and then I also heard good night. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Oh, wow. You've also heard them say your name, haven't you?
Well, yeah, actually last week I was checking out an alert on the cameras, and just to see what caused the camera to trigger, which is by motion, and I didn't see anything, but I heard Dwight.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. So how did that make you feel whenever that happened?
It actually made me feel uncomfortable, but I've never really felt in danger here. It was just odd to have me called out by name, especially on a camera when no one's here.
While the team finishes preparing for lights out, Sam introduces us to one of the most active places in the theater, behind the stage.
So one of the things that we're really interested in particularly is the stage, especially behind the stage. We have a lot of activity goes on back there, so if you want to come with me, we can check out what's going on back there.
Yeah, that sounds great. It's very dark back here.
So this is the backstage. We have a lot of people that hear voices. They see people back here. A lot of times you can see it through the screen, and there's no one back here.
Where'd my flashlight go?
Did you just get touched?
I don't know. Something weird happening right here.
That's what happens back here a lot.
I'm serious. I'm freaked out. It's serious. I have goosebumps.
So Stephen, you just had an experience backstage. Can you tell us what happened?
Right. We went back to. I just wanted to see backstage because I understand that it's a hotspot. So Sam was taking me back there, and all of a sudden my light got turned off, and right after that, something brushed right by me, and yeah, it felt not quite like wind, but something, and it freaked me out.
All right, guys, we're getting ready to go lights out. Here we go, guys. And we're lights out.
With teams stationed up in the projection room, the concession stand, and down at the front of the auditorium, things get active quickly. Justin and Zach begin with the classic flashlight experiment.
So it's important to understand that this is just a standard flashlight. I can undo this. You can see that it's got 2 AA batteries. So how this flashlight is used is we complete the circuit by tightening this up, and then if we want to turn the flashlight off, then we loosen the circuit. To do the flashlight session, we leave the light on, and then we turn it off to where it's just barely disconnected. Spirits should be able, in theory, to come and put their energy on this, complete the circuit, and turn the flashlight on. Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? My name's Justin. I also have Zach with me. A flashlight's here on the stage. If you're able to touch that, it should light up. It won't hurt you, it won't hurt us, but it can be a way for us to communicate.
It doesn't take long before someone or something responds.
Do you know that they almost tore this building down? Can you turn that back off now?
When you do it at the count of 3, I'll count down for you. When I get to 1, please turn off the flashlight. 3, 2, 1. Turn the flashlight off, please. All the way. Thank you.
Simultaneously, the team in the projection booth radios in.
We're getting all kinds of activity up here. We're going to have to get another recording. And our battery recording.
Their batteries are mysteriously draining, and as we'll soon learn, the activity has Ron and Travis requesting backup.
Justin and Zach, want to join us up here?
have some stuff going on in there too.
I'm serious, when that flashlight came on, I about jumped out of my seat.
So again, I'll ask, can you please turn that flashlight on? Thank you. On the count of 3, I need you to turn the flashlight on. 1, 2, 3. Please turn off the flashlight. Thank you. Are you Dick? Are you the former owner of this theater? If so, can you please turn on the flashlight? If you are a former employee of this theater, can you please turn on the flashlight?
Are you the man that hanged himself in the theater?
There is a charged atmosphere at the clearly intelligent responses.
Can you turn the flashlight on the count of 3? 3, 2, 1. Turn on the flashlight, please. Thank you. Can you tell us why you hung yourself? What in your life was so bad that you didn't take it? Did it come from loneliness? Thank you. You can turn that light off on the count of 3 and continue to ask questions. 3, 2, 1. Please turn off the flashlight. Thank you. I mean, I'm literally trying to count. I mean,
I know.
I remember a while ago, there were 2 elderly women that were here, and I talked to them because they remember Dick, the owner, and they said that there was a man who was here, that worked here, and he was gay. And back then, like, that was a huge no-no.
Right.
And supposedly there was some rumors going around, and I hope I'm saying this right, that he apparently was having relations with a young boy, and apparently he killed himself at home by hanging, but it wasn't here.
Oh my god, that's the same person.
Maybe it's because. Thank you. Okay. Can you turn the flashlight off for us on the count of 3? 3, 2, 1. Please turn off the flashlight. Thank you. The ladies seem to think that that they don't think that he was doing anything wrong. Like he didn't have any relationship with any young boys or anything like that.
I think it was just a
yeah. Well, apparently he was a very different character, I guess. So he was already kind of weird. And then on top of that, with people, I think, knowing that he was gay, like the men of the town really gave him a hard time.
Ron and Travis came down at one point and said that they were getting a lot of activity upstairs.
So what was happening upstairs?
Where did I begin? We thought we heard something behind him, and we were just asking questions. You worked here before. What's your name? And Ron, for some reason, just thought off the top of his head that would have been a good place to take someone after work and have sex with. And as soon as we started talking about sex, at first it was just regular sex, but then when we started asking, because I kept feeling like it was touching me. It touched the back of my neck, it touched my hair. And we were trying to figure out, like, yeah, it felt like it was touching the side, my love handles. So I'm like, why is it touching me? Like, is it homosexual? And I mean,
serious. And I told him, on a serious note,
every hair on his arm was
straight
up.
And I told him that there's nothing to be, offended about. I understand your day and age probably was, and didn't I?
Yeah.
And then we're standing staring at each other, and we're not both moving. We're staring at each other, and then we're looking at each other, and we hear a growl, and we both went.
My suggestion was to go out on the platform just to kind of refocus, and I told him, I said, I think he's out here, and then it felt like he was touching my freaking side again. So I said, I'm going downstairs. We're outside.
Yeah, because we were sitting down and thinking, like, what would make total sense is if he was a homosexual. Like, what if he, was gay? That would be a reason why he would act so, like, hidden and want people to, like, get out. It's none of your business. Like, leave me alone,
As final confirmation of this theory, Ron and Travis head down to the front of the auditorium to directly ask if this was the spirit who they were encountering up in the projection booth.
Did you touch Marty? Okay. Alright, shut the flashlight off. Shut the flashlight off.
Knowing that there is more than one spirit active in the theater, the team decides to try another experiment, this time using a spirit box. A spirit box works by rapidly scanning both FM and AM radio bands, producing a unique high-frequency white noise where spirits are able to form words. After approximately 10 minutes, something comes through. A hesitancy in answering questions seems to have set in. That is, until one question is asked that gets an immediate response.
What do you want us to do?
Let's take it out. Being down near the stage, it is believed that the command to get out comes from the entity that resides behind the screen. And so, as the hour gets very late, the entire team heads backstage for the night's final investigation. Tiffany begins taking K2 readings, showing spikes in electromagnetic energy, which is believed to indicate the presence of spirit activity. As malfunctioning cameras are reported, pay attention to Bethany. Something is up with her hair.
What it's worth, I was having some bizarre focus issues just a moment ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You've had that happen back here before, haven't you?
Yeah. For sure.
Like whenever there's an electric item. Yeah, the spike goes up to like...
Something is touching Bethany, and she finally reacts.
20s, 30s.
Is it you touching my hair now?
No, Ron didn't.
Okay.
Something touch your hair?
Yeah, like the very top of my head.
Bethany has been feeling something play with her hair and touch her head almost from the moment the team went backstage. While Bethany continues to feel something touch her head, suddenly a loud noise is heard.
What was that?
Is there somebody in the auditorium?
There's no one out there.
No.
Oh, that's
But we all heard it.
Yep.
That's never
And that is one of the claims, is that you will hear somebody.
There we go. Yeah, look at that.
Like someone, no one's out
Yeah.
there. Yep.
Yep, so thank you for confirming.
Following a response on the flashlight, the team asks a direct question about Bethany feeling touched, and they get an instant response.
So, have you been touching people's hair tonight? Wow. Okay.
That is an emphatic yes.
Wow.
Can you turn the flashlight off, please?
So do you touch people's hair because you like their hair? Do you touch their hair because you're trying to get our attention? Are you trying to get us to leave?
See if it's a joke to make them. Is it funny?
Are you just trying to scare us and so that way you can get a laugh?
Prankster?
Oh, we just got a K2 hit. And the flashlight.
Right on top of my head.
And just then, something remarkable happens.
Oh, me too.
Are you touching
I just got
people's
touched on the head.
hair right now? Is that you?
Oh my gosh.
Two others are suddenly touched.
Right at the scalp.
Yep.
You have the scalp too?
Right, I got it right on top of me.
Right here. See my hand up here?
Were you the one that ran down the stairs after you touched us?
Yep, that's exactly right. Oh, that kind of freaks me out. I got goosebumps.
At this point, something alarming begins to happen with Bethany, who is showing signs of distress.
Is there someone out in the auditorium or?
And now the camera nearest her begins to malfunction.
Are you getting pressure? Uh-huh. My shoulder. Oh, I'm sorry, Justin. This is elbow.
Mike, who is one of the camera crew, is also an EMT and is growing concerned about her condition.
That just means that you have.
It's like a really strong pressure.
Want to step out?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get out of here.
Let's take you. I'm going to give Run Pop vitals. You're at 120. Breathe through your nose, out through your mouth. Nice deep breaths.
While Bethany gets medical attention, the team continues behind the screen.
Keep it up. Now you bounce back up again. Hold. Pull it out.
Backstage, the atmosphere has definitely changed, with no further activity happening once Bethany left the area.
How do you feel now? You feeling a little bit better?
I feel a lot better than what I did back there.
Good. I'm going to do a blood check.
So why don't you tell us what happened?
We were standing in the back behind the screen in the auditorium, and I started getting really bad chest pains, and I could feel my heart pumping through my chest, so I had to leave the back of the auditorium.
She was hyperventilating. The chest pains, her heart rate was up to 120. Right now she's sweaty. Just got kind of worked up. I'm just going to check the blood pressure. It should be okay. Yeah, so you're back down to normal.
So we just had this crazy flashlight session where we were in contact with an entity. We found out some information about him. We're not sure if he's a real person, but what we're going to do now is we're going to go do some historical research and see if we can find out if this person actually existed or not. So we found proof that the spirit that we were talking to was a real person. This is his death certificate here. We're not going to say his last name to you guys, but his first name was Danny. We want to be respectful of the family that might be still remaining in the area. It appears that there was a suicide attempt in December of 1967, and then he was successful with this attempt in October of 1968. Danny took his life in October of 1968 with a gunshot wound to the head with a .22 caliber pistol. But Danny was the manager of the Fowler Theater in the 60s. He was reported to be gay, and he was, there were some rumors about him that you guys have seen throughout this documentary, and we're not going to go through them here. We're just going to tell you what we do know. We have heard rumors that there was a hanging.
Are you the man that hanged himself in the theater?
We have yet to be able to find proof of that. We did find a picture of him. That's him right there in 9th grade. He was from Oxford, Indiana, so just a small town not very far from Fowler. And so that's him right there. And then last but not least, we do have the newspaper clipping of Danny's suicide. So he was 35 years old at the time, and he did die at St. Elizabeth Hospital in Lafayette, Indiana. So we've heard some rumors here in the town of Fowler concerning this individual, and some of them flattering, some of them not so flattering. We just want to say thank you so much for communicating with us. We know that you had to have been a troubled soul to have taken your life. And so we just want to say that we're grateful and thank you so much for communicating with us, and that we hope that you're at peace.
Why do you seem so scared?